Welcome back to the pod. I'm Alex.
I'm Brandon.
And this is Two Nerds in Universe, where we have in-depth discussion of all things nerdy and give you opinions nobody asked for.
Today we're going to be doing a non-spoiler review of Scream 7, as well as a couple of other nerdy horror movie tropes to talk about. But before we get into that, here is a word from our sponsor.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome back. All right, so what's going on in the entertainment world today, brother? I think the number one thing that we can talk about is Scary Movie 6. The trailer just dropped today, I think roughly 6 hours ago. So I remember I was right in the middle of a gym session when it popped up, paused my gym session just so I could watch that.
The whole trailer.
That trailer. There's a whole bunch of cool connections to modern day scary movies that we've watched in the past like 2-3 years that I think are really cool. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
What do you think is, well, one, I am going to enjoy that they bring in pretty much every modern horror movie that we've been watching for the last probably like 5 years. I think the earliest thing I can remember on there is probably Scream, right? Which is 96. But most of the other stuff they threw at you is
Sinners,
Megan, Wednesday they threw in there.
Weapons when they're running.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of like modern stuff that they did throw at us. I'm excited. I mean, I'm gonna laugh the entire time anyway, so I'm gonna enjoy it. And it's the Wayans, they're geniuses.
Yes, they're always very good with their scary movies, and it's because of movies like that and Scream that I feel strongly that these movies are timeless. They're always going to be making new ones. We're going to have a Scream 7, or excuse me, a Scream like 10, a Scary Movie 13.
I hope not.
Etc. No, that's the reason. So look, if you look at something like Scream 1, right? They're over here and they're talking about how Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, the first ones were really, really good, and then the rest sucked. That's a quote directly from the movie, and that's just what they're poking fun of at the entire time. That's what caused the downfall of the horror movie genre for a time until Scream came and resurrected it. But the thing is, you have the same killer every single time. It's always it's always Michael. It's always Jason behind the mask. How many times do we got to kill you before you just stay gone?
Is that why you like Scream? Is that the killers are different?
Exactly, because it's like the Joker, right? I'm not a person. I'm an idea.
Yeah.
Right. It's the exact same thing. That's the reason why it will always continue to have a ghost face behind, or a person behind the ghost face mask. And there's always going to be scary movies to make fun of the.
But do you not think that they should move on from this? Will go into. We can ask this at the end a little bit later. We can get more into depth with Scream. As far as scary movie itself, I'm trying to think of a lot of different spoofs and parodies. I think parodies and all that they do off of these movies. Out of every one that I've seen, I feel like Scary Movie is the one that you can watch multiple times. Even though it's making fun of movies and being stupid, you can still watch it. You can still enjoy it. Like, I can't sit there and watch superhero movie over and over. I can't sit there and watch, what's another one? Super Fat.
Disaster movie.
Like, I can't watch those stupid movies over and over. I can watch Scary Movie and still enjoy it. You know what I mean? So, this one I'm still going to go watch.
Laughing in the face of danger. I know this may be a little out there, but I guess from a metaphorical perspective, the reason why we like movies like Scream and like movies like Scary Movie is because we're laughing in the face of danger.
Yeah.
Like, this is stuff that should be terrifying and hurt us, but we're over here, we're poking fun at it.
I love Scream. I love Scream 1 and Scream 2 so much, right? Because I think they were pretty transcendent on horror movies, slasher movies specifically. The only thing, and I feel that throws off a lot of people and is starting to throw me off, is that in order to progress the plot, people have to be stupid. And it's kind of like, at this point, if you see Ghostface chasing somebody up the stairs, just know the girl's going to fall, she's going to turn, she's going to kick him in the face, and he's going to go flying back. Like, you don't know that that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Or when Ghostface swings at you, he's going to miss, the momentum's going to carry him, he's going to fall, that's when you're able to run. So it's kind of like, I enjoy the first one and the second one because of the plot, because of the reveal, because of the genius that was Wes Craven, right? What he did and everything like that as far as those movies. It's just they're kind of losing
It's
me.
becoming more of a beat for beat sort of thing.
Yeah, it is. But I can still enjoy that even when Scary Movie does it and makes fun of it,
Mhm.
I can enjoy it.
I love the dynamic between the two movies for sure.
Mhm.
Because eventually, it's a Scream, baby.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard saying that. I mean, just a lot of stuff in the behind the scenes that led to
I don't think people know that what changed the title for them was because of Stu Macher.
his his leaving like it's a Scream, baby.
And when he's yelled that, they were like, I think we just got our title, Scream.
Oh.
So was pretty cool.
Uh,
Hey, so before we kind of dive into our horror topic,
Hmm.
I want to give you a ladder of what do you think is a better scary movie until we get to the final remaining movie.
Okay.
So here's a little one for you that I put together. Let me know what you think. All right. So first up, Child's Play 1986 or Nightmare on Elm Street 1984.
I'm actually not really that big of a fan of Chucky at all.
So
Not that he's scary, and I don't want to. It's just too goofy. It's way too goofy. It's like Small Soldiers if Small Soldiers was a scary movie. It's all it really is. I gotta say, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's timeless. It's amazing.
I don't agree with your Child's Play take, but that's kind of crazy. Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween 1978.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right, Nightmare on Elm Street or Hills Have Eyes. 06.
We're judging this based of pure like for fear or just the makeup.
What do you think is a better? Yeah, what do you think is a better movie? Nightmare on Elm Street or Hills Have Eyes.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, Nightmare on Elm Street or Saw.
Ugh.
First Saw.
I'm. Mm, I would. I'm gonna have to do a hot take here and say Saw.
Okay, Saw over Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, Saw or Scream 1996.
You're putting that right in the middle. Just stop the list. Scream.
Okay, Scream or
Scream.
you haven't even let me say it. Scream or X 2022.
You really shouldn't have put Scream. I'm too biased towards Scream.
Okay,
Man.
so Scream. Scream or Fear Street 2021.
I love that movie too. Scream.
Okay, Scream or Scream 2.
Mickey Altieri is gonna be pissed at me, but I'm gonna say Scream.
Scream or Strangers. The Strangers 2008.
Brother. I could have flipped a couple of these. Scream.
Okay, so Scream is your favorite horror movie of all time, and you think is the greatest horror movie of all time.
I think it's the greatest horror movie of all time. And you know what? If you guys want to be very, very technical, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and put something like Scream up against like Conjuring or Insidious or something
Yeah,
like that.
because it's not better
It's
than either one of
humongous
those.
different. I'm terrified of Insidious and Conjuring. I'm not terrified of Scream. In fact, I'm enthralled with Scream. I'm over here like, oh my gosh, that is so. I'm quoting it. It's like it's too fun, right?
Yeah,
But
because you wouldn't say Scream is better than those movies.
no, I
right?
wouldn't. I
Okay.
couldn't. Right. So I'm gonna sit here and say it's the greatest slasher of all time because there's a big like like philosophical difference between the slasher and a scary movie, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's the greatest slasher of all time. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And again, I'm not putting Scream anywhere near Lord of the Rings or Star Wars.
You did. You actually did in our movie tier list.
Yes,
You actually said
I put it in the same category. I did not put it neck and neck.
Scream was higher than The Dark Knight. So you think Scream is better than The Dark Knight. You're so yeah, no. So then that is
I've watched Scream.
so then
and
that is
have Dark Knight.
bias. Then you can't be biased here when I'm asking you about this because what did you say? Child's Play was that one's that one
Okay at best. It's okay.
no.
You're talking about how stupid people are in scary movies. Like, just kick the doll.
The first Child's Play, I'd only say, I mean, it's kind of hard because I really do think my favorite Scream is Scream 2.
Yeah. Okay. Mickey Altieri.
Yeah, and as good as Billy and Stu Macher were, because I know that they were really good. I'd rather watch Child's Play definitely over Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5, Scream 6. I think they're already way past the point of stopping now. Like it needs to be done. Scream needs to end already.
You want to explain that? I don't understand what people mean by that. The only thing that I can possibly comprehend is what I talked about a second ago, where they just feel that it's basically the same person behind the mask every single time, and somehow he's being resurrected or something like that. For people who haven't watched the movies, when you do watch the movies, up until like one or two of them, the every like motive behind all the movies have been unique, have been
But does it not
has been a jab at society at
d-
large. You look
if-
at Scream 5.
does it not irritate you that every single one of these killers in Scream are are so clumsy, fall over everything, trip over everything, and then every time they try to stab a petite high school girl, she somehow kicks them in the face, they fall back and she gets away.
I say being kicked in the face is gonna make me fall back a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure, but if I know you're gonna kick me in the face, I'm probably gonna move.
I can admit that
And then everybody has a gun, right? Whenever they have their hands on a gun, they never hit him. Every time
hit-
they
they hit him
shoot,
all
they
the
get
time.
away,
they hit him all the time.
and they always get, and then they're like, oh,
That's
we're
explained in
safe,
Scream
and then
3.
they turn and body's gone.
That's explained in Scream 3. All right.
No,
He
it's-
wears a vest. All right, that's part of the rules. Did you not listen to the rules?
yeah, and then yeah, that's dumb.
No, look. All right. I still hold to the fact that that this is something that can be consistently done throughout time. I think Scream 5 proved that because it's not just the old horror movies where they're just trying to be copycat killers. Not just trying to be copycat killers. They're also adding modern day twists to it. You even mentioned yourself when you and I both watched Scream 5 in the theaters when Jenna Ortega's
She's
character
using her phone.
well, not just using her phone, but like like what's your favorite scary movie? And she says The Babadook. Like
He's like, what's
Babadook.
that? It's elevated horror.
It's elevated horror, right?
He's like, what does that mean? It's not just what she say, stabs and screams. It's a beautiful bond with mother and something. He's like,
Motherhood.
that sounds kind of boring.
But very funny, right? But I mean, they're also talking about other modern days, like Hereditary, It Follows, whatever. And you're like, oh, these are movies I've watched.
No.
before,
I
you know?
do think Scream 5 is good. I think Scream 5 is where it should have ended. I didn't like Scream 6. I thought pulling Kirby from the history was kind of dumb. This last one was. I'll save it for the end. I'll save it for the end. But yeah, I think you should have stopped at a certain point because at this point it's like, how much history does this woman have that we could just keep pulling people out of?
Okay, so I mean that's a very good point. I mean, we really should start to segue into Scream 7 in general and our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to?
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick, just to get your idea kind of it. So, on a website called Screencraft, they did a science right behind what is the scariest horror movies of all time, and what they did is they just hooked you up, try to see your heartbeat, your heart rate, see when it rised, and kind of went like that, right? Like your highest spike, your average movie heart rate, average resting heart rate, that sort of thing. So according to science, and this was as of 2023, 2024. So a couple movies I see, there hasn't really been new movies, I think, that are even on this list. So I'll give you the first 5. You tell me what you think. Number 1, according to science, the scariest movie of all time is Sinister with Ethan Hawke.
I liked the movie. I mean, this movie came out what time?
Oh, 2013, 2012, something like that.
It's spoiler time. I mean, I don't think it's
Yeah.
we're crazy early on that at all. The fact that the daughter, the most innocent one of them all, is the one that ends up killing him in the end. I think that was certainly a relative shock to me. But did I feel that terror in
I
my
did.
heart? I'm not sure I did.
I did.
I've had terror before. I'm not sure if you're about to bring it up, but Paranormal Activities as a
Video
kid.
video footage of a demonic entity killing a family in like brutal ways in the pool, burning them alive, hanging. Watching that movie the entire time, like
You want to sit here
I
and talk
felt a
about
tug on my Holy Spirit, like, hey buddy, like let's put on the game.
You talk about how stupid people can be in scary movies. I think that's
But in this one, it was.
something a lot of people could say they hate about scary movies is how dumb some people are in movies.
But there's good scary movies that you don't have to do something stupid to progress the plot. Sinister wasn't one of them.
Sinister, he's over here.
He's a
a
writer.
non-believer basically the entire time.
He's a
And we're
writer.
seeing this constantly happening on these but that's tapes, and he's still not a believer
But
till the
he's-
very, very end.
He's chasing back his Kentucky blood, or I think that was what the book was called in the movie. Where he's trying, he's an author, so he's trying to get back on that list of being like a New York Times bestseller or whatever the case is. So he's trying to do that again, which he is actively ignoring everything of when he should go, but because even his wife is getting mad at him later on, like, you knowingly moved into this house knowing people were murdered here, and you didn't think to tell me. He's just trying to chase fame. So that's why he was actively ignoring everything, and you could even see like he's slowly losing his mind the entire movie, because now it's starting to hit closer to home. Now not only is he seeing the demonic entity in the video footages, but he's also starting to see it in his life around his children. Just having those videos in your home that you find in your attic when you just moved into the house. And even then, what also is kind of scary about this thing is that the video footage that he saw wasn't on a phone, wasn't on a recorder. It was on film. Like, he actually had to put the film together, run
Roll it up.
the roll it, yeah. And he sees all that on a projector screen, like flashing. It's just so like it feels so like scary, like it made me feel a little weird. It made my stomach like knot up. I think Sinister is such a great horror movie. I definitely think it should be a top 5 that I've felt watching it and made me feel so uncomfortable.
I might agree with you that it should maybe top 10.
That's
Maybe
fine.
top 10.
That's
But I mean, it was a scary movie. It was good. Great actors. It's just not something that I felt like terrified me.
That's fine. I mean, that's number 1. So I'll read them real quick just so we can get through this. Host, number 2. Number 3. I'm gonna butcher the name. I apologize, but it's like the Skinnamarink. Yeah, Skinnamarink. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher the name. That's 3, 4, Insidious, 5, The Conjuring.
Insidious and Conjuring 100% terrified me growing up. I felt absolute terror for sure.
Yeah.
Sitting there. I mean, I make it worse on myself because I prefer to watch new scary movies in the dark alone. So
Yeah.
just to really maximize
Yeah.
effectiveness. And yeah, bro. Insidious, just seeing that face behind him right there, you do not see it coming at all. I mean, I believe it may have been in the trailer. I didn't see the trailer growing up.
I don't think it was in the trailer.
Oh.
It was in the trailer. I don't watch trailers, so
I didn't see it growing up, so I'm over here just watching, like, already terrified, seeing that person, that demonic spirit, singing, dancing to that song, tiptoe,
yeah, tiptoe through the tulips.
That's very scary. At this point, I'm very terrified, and then all of a sudden, that one seer lady ends up looking up, and then behind the dad just sees that red face, like, I mean, it's just like, oh,
Yeah, and then
that coming.
I think the what part that I thought I was tripping was especially the sound effects, right, in the movie. And then when she's looking at the ceiling in the corner and she pulls the guy and she's telling him like how to draw him, and you hear like the sounds, like the cracking sounds, and then she grabs the sketch pad, runs, turns, yeah. It's just the entire movie. The sound effects too is also, especially that the intro scene in the introduction, when they show the title and they show the big red letters Insidious, and you hear the music rise up like that. I was looking at my dad like, what are we doing? And the entire time I was watching over my dad's shoulder. I think that came out in what, 2012, 2011, something like that, 2013. So I think I was around 13. Enough to be like in this movie and knowing like, all right, this is scary as hell.
Yeah, 100%.
Insidious, I think, is definitely deserves to be up there. And then Conjuring, of course, we've talked about it before, but yeah, bro, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, that followed by Hereditary, which we also talked about too as well, being a cult horror, and that one made me extremely uneasy sort of like how I felt watching Midsommar is how Hereditary made me feel. Just that cult horror.
How surprising was it to see that beheading?
I didn't even yeah. Well, the entire time you're watching the trailer, you see her,
Mm.
so you're kind of like, it's her. She's gonna be the one that's like killing everybody, or it's gonna revolve around her. 10 minutes in, you're like, what is this movie about? And then yeah, dude, it's just if you haven't seen Hereditary, I'm not gonna be the one to be like, you gotta go watch it, but like you should watch it,
Mhm.
just to understand kind of the cult horror and how it's different from Hereditary or The Conjuring.
Mhm.
Because I can watch those and I can be really terrified. But I can watch Hereditary and Midsommar and be like, this is a little real. Like this feels a little more real
Mhm.
than those other movies. So that's why it would naturally scare me more. That's what I feel watching Hereditary.
Absolutely.
So these are what close out this it's titled The Science of Scares. So according to science, what movies are the scariest? And then a couple in there, Smile, Talk
That
to
was pretty
Me,
terrifying too.
Talk to Me. The Descent is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I, hell no, I'd never go in the cave.
Not cliff diving.
Uh,
Not cliff. What is it called?
the
What do they do?
the diving, cave diving.
Cave diving. I'm
Yeah, and then
not doing any of that.
yeah. No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not exploring caves. No, I'm not doing it. Honestly, dude, one time I went on a family vacation, real quick story. We went on a family vacation and my mom and everybody was like, hey, we're gonna go in the caves. And I was like, I'm not going in no damn cave. She was like, oh, well, then you're just gonna stay here. And I was like, okay. She was like, no, come on, come with us. And I was like, is there lights? And she was like, yes. And I was like, okay, all right, I guess. So I got the biggest life vest, right? I know how to swim really good, but when you talk about swimming in open water and then you talk about swimming in a cave or something, I needed something.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, went in there. Don't nothing to worry about. They had bats in the cave. The cave was pitch black. They had red lights under the water. What could go wrong? I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I They were just pulling me through the water and the entire time.
Such comatose, just like
Dude, I didn't know what to do. I was very terrified.
Descent is a very terrifying movie for sure.
Absolutely, and I that is one of my favorite
Mhm.
horror movies of all time. I will always strongly urge everybody to watch The Descent because that doesn't feel like demonic. That
Yeah.
feels like if people were stuck underground, this is what they would become. How many cave systems are unexplored in this world?
I think
How many?
there's also like it's also implied there's a little bit of inbreeding
Yeah,
going
absolutely.
on.
And then how many idiots in the world are there and be like, let's go into this uninhabited cave, and
That
they're like,
nobody's ever been in.
yeah, let's be the first to name it.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's that movie. So go watch it. Claustrophobic, scared of the dark, everything. Go watch that movie. That is the movie for you the entire time. You'd be terrified of that one. That one actually, it says that your heart rate jumped up to 121. The only three that are higher than that are Insidious, Conjuring, and Sinister. So my heart rate definitely jumped watching that one.
Absolutely.
Other ones on there, Conjuring 2, Paranormal Activity is on there at 15, Babadook 16, Insidious 2 19. So a couple some in there
Mm.
that we watched that
Yeah.
are definitely on there.
The movie about motherhood.
What I find crazy is that all these movies that are on there, that they grabbed a bunch of movies, they grabbed a bunch of like even old school horror movies too, and not one of them are on here.
Yeah, I imagine. Maybe it was back in the day. Obviously, they weren't doing this test back in 1984
Yeah.
in the theater. But and I'm sure if they did, it'd be terrifying. But at the same time, I mean, you put I don't know, like a bad scary movie nowadays. I can't think of one right now, and throw it to somebody back in the 1920s, they die.
Yeah.
I mean, they were over here fainting at Psycho. And if you've seen Psycho, it's not a very scary movie.
No.
It's an iconic movie for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not scary. And that was people were going nuts over that, like
Mhm.
throwing up. You know, like this is the way the movies are going to go from now on. This is terrible.
I can imagine throwing a movie that's not even that scary, but throwing it to, the time before us and see how they react.
I've thought about
Like, I'm not gonna say Hereditary or The Conjuring or Insidious. Don't take that back to the 80s and 70s
they'll
because
burn the theater down.
you would kill you would be the reason people would commit suicide and stuff like that, right? So you should not show those movies. But I would say like if you showed movie, even like Get Out, something that's extremely suspenseful. It's not necessarily scary, but you showed that to people in the 80s. I think that would be enough to like even make them like, oh,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like this movie is completely creepy, terrifying. I'm not even sure if you even released some of these movies at that time, would they do as good? Or would people deem that you shouldn't watch that? That's not good for you. That's not good for anybody. So these movies might have even bombed.
We're I think what we're sort of dancing around right now is that we're certainly desensitized when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
The reason why a lot of people may not like a lot of scary movies nowadays is because it's really, really hard to
Scary.
encapsulate that feeling of watching a scary movie for the first time again. Uh, so I mean, I guess directors and writers definitely have it
Ju-
an uphill battle for sure.
Just a quick question off the top of my head. Is there a horror movie that you watched recently that you actually couldn't finish?
No,
No.
I love watching horror movies.
I love watching horror movies too. There's one movie I couldn't finish, and that was Terrifier.
Oof. Yeah.
There's a cult following for Terrifier. I'm not sure if it's for the movie themselves or is it for Art the Clown.
The Con 2 was really good. If you want to just skip
2 was not really good. 2 was terrible. It was mad.
I heard 2 was better than 1.
Magic in Terrifier 2. That's
Do
you tell me Art was human in the first one.
I really believe Art was human. Wait, hold on.
You believe Art was human?
Well, maybe not.
No, definitely not.
Was he shot a lot during that first movie?
I watched up until the point where some girl was getting sawed upside down, and that's where I turned it off. I honestly, it's just
I watched that during the day, and I was uncomfortable.
no. I watched it at night. The only thing that bothers me is like there needs to be a plot to the movie, right? There needs to be some sort of give me introduction, rising, plot, falling, even in its basic form. Give me something like that. There was nothing like that. It was just an evil person or whatever you want to. I don't know, but evil person just killing people in the most gruesome, brutal ways for no reason but to do it because it's enjoyable to them. So
the people who filmed it too, I mean, they're really going in like this pushed the limits for sure. They're really going into the death scenes in a way that other movies just really relatively gloss over.
and not even they gloss over.
Stabbed that person in the face like a whole bunch of times, and it was brutal.
Yeah, but other people that pass up filming a scene like that, is it just because they're like, yeah, it's a little brutal, or are they asking themselves like, should we even really film something like this?
They really should ask that, yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of like I love horror movies. I can understand some gruesome kills, right? Scream 7, if you go watch Scream 7, had some gruesome kills, right? Okay, I get it. It's a scary movie. But Terrifier completely passed that boundary and was like, we're gonna do extremely gruesome things, and it's kind of like you can't even enjoy it. At least in my opinion, and that's that I love horror movies and scary movies,
not
movies in general.
Let's not forget, a movie at its core, regardless of genre, is meant to be entertaining.
How is that entertaining?
That's not entertaining. That's not
Oh,
like if you want to push the limits of horror, there's certainly some routes we could go that I don't want to see.
Yeah,
I mean,
another one, Incantation. I know we had mentioned it last time. Incantation is another movie, and it was on Netflix. I couldn't get through to that movie. There's some horror movies that it's like, you know what? It's probably going to be big because it's a balance between extremely horrific and there's a plot behind it. There's a story behind it. But some of these other movies, it's just like, dude, this is just a lot of evil in this movie. Can't really watch it. So that's what I feel about Terrifier. I know there's a lot of there's a big old following for Terrifier. I'm sorry if I don't like it. I understand the design between Art the Clown is cool. I think that is his how he looks and his appearance is cool. But the movie itself, I can't get behind. That's how I feel about that. So this weekend, me and Brandon, also Thursday night to be exact, we went to go watch the new Scream.
Scream 7.
As everybody knows, Brandon is the biggest.
I love Scream, man.
And he cannot put his bias aside.
It's really good.
1 and 2 are really good. I agree.
I argue that Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rate them real quick on a scale 1 to 10. Scream 1.
Number 1.
No. Like just scale 1 to 10. 10 being the best, 1 being dog.
10 out of 10.
Okay, so Scream 1, 10 out of 10. Scream 2.
9 out of 10.
Scream 3.
5 out of 10, but really good. I mean, it has.
How is it a 5 but really good?
So,
because if you give a movie a
spiel there,
I've
there's a spiel there.
No, because I've asked you movies that give me a rating on this movie, and you say 5,
It's less
it
than
wasn't
a 5.
very
It's
good.
less than a 5.
Not
I
that you
probably
won't,
won't watch it
not
again,
that
but
you,
this is a 5 and
no,
up.
not that you won't rewatch it. I've never heard you rate a movie a 5 and say it's good. It's a 5.
So I know what I'm saying, all right? Like I get that it's kind of an oxymoron right there. With like, you're like, like, look, if you've seen Scream 3, you got to know behind the scenes that this was a nightmare to
Produce.
film, to
Yeah.
produce.
Yeah.
They switched writers a whole bunch of times, so much that they even poked fun at it during the movie
Yeah.
when the second kill happened. She's like, when she's talking to the killer unknowingly, she's like, "Is there another rewrite, a new script? This is ridiculous." It's exactly what the actors,
Felt
our
like
world, were actually
feeling
going
it.
through, and it's annoying, right? But they played with that a lot. It was like, you know what? This is happening in real life. I mean, what if the killer is following the script for who dies in the movie, but we don't know what script is going on? That's an ingenious thing. You're over here like, who could it be? It's great. I love that.
Yeah.
The fact that there's technically one killer, though there's a theory out there that
There's 2.
there's a second killer there.
Yeah.
Still great. The Roman is actually relatively memorable. When I initially watched it, I didn't actually remember her. The killer was revealed. I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that.
I just hate
But
that
over the course of time, I'm over here still watching the clip of the killer reveal in Scream 3. He did it amazingly.
Yeah, but
He's a great actor and he did a good job with that movie.
the only thing I don't like is you pull from history, but there have never been any Easter eggs to her having any sort of sibling, any sort.
There is in Scream 1, okay?
This is a big fan going into
And
the
dissecting it. Let me
dissecting it.
teach you a little bit, okay? In Scream 1, there's 2 scenes in particular where it shows Ghostface stalking Sydney and Tatum, right? There's one where Ghostface is in the woods and they're about to leave to go get some groceries, and you sort of see him for a split second and he runs off, right? And then there's in Scream 1 a little bit later on throughout the movie, they're in the grocery store. They're talking about Billy and Sydney and how she wants to take things to the next level, but she's having difficulty kind of doing that. And Tatum is encouraging her to just sort of, leave Billy. He's a weirdo, and all that. Good friend. But and then in the reflection of one of the doors, you sort of see Ghostface again. In one of the deleted scenes, even Tatum even throws the cart away when they're about to get inside the car a little bit after that scene, and Ghostface's hand grabs the cart.
So Ghostface guy walking in the middle of the daylight.
It's definitely a little weird. There's a reason why they took it off. There's a reason why they took it away, right? So check this out. Immediately after that scene with Tatum and Sydney in the grocery store, you have Billy and Stu in the movie store immediately after that, and it implied that that's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
The relative lights would indicate that that's around like noon, 1-ish, or whatever, when they're doing that stuff. So
How does that relate to her having a brother?
so who was stalking them throughout the entire
That
time?
could be anything. There's no pictures in the home of having a
It's a secret brother. Why would they have?
well, not even then. No. You're right. You're right. But at that same time, too, it's just that's such a weak pull to be all like, "Hey, you have a secret brother. He's the killer," and it's kind of like, where did that come from?
I don't think
That doesn't even make any sense.
I don't think that's crazy at
I
all.
think the concept of Scream 4 was much more enjoyable, and I can understand that way more than Scream 3.
Well, if I could just wrap this up with Scream 3. All right. Look, is it the greatest movie in the series? No.
The second
it's not.
worst.
It's the second worst. Or I would argue the third worst. All right. It's the third worst, right? But the skeleton plan that they had, the skeleton script that they had for Scream 3, it could have been one of the best movies of the entire franchise had they just done a little more with it. For instance, there is a voice changer that is able to mimic anybody in that they want. That's a little out there,
Yeah, that
especially
was
for the time period
technology
where it's
where we're at, yeah.
That's crazy, right? You kind of have to suspend your disbelief in order to really go with that. But had they done this route, where what if this Ghostface killer, the brother, as it's implied, is obsessed with Sydney, right? What if he's been watching every interview between Sydney and Gail and Dewey and Cotton and anybody that he needs to mimic, and he's taking clips of their voice from these interviews or whatever and be able to implement them inside the voice changer. That doesn't sound too crazy.
Yeah, but then you
That's
see
scary.
yeah,
That shows obsession in a way that we haven't seen.
then you gotta pull these things.
Exactly.
You clip one word here, one word
It's
here.
crazy,
Then how
right?
do you make it seamless? That's dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
That's
it's
such a
crazy is
weak
what it
pull.
is, and that's exactly what you
No,
expect
not
from a
at that
Ghostface
time.
killer.
Not at that time. If you were to say that this took place in the most recent Scream, I'd understand it because everybody can do that. At
Yeah,
that time, it
exactly.
didn't make
Everybody
sense.
can do that. Anybody can. I could do it right now with
No.
whoever. But this person, they'd have to really be like obsessed and like this is my entire life.
Scary
right
Movie
now.
3 wasn't it. They were
Scream.
Scream 3, sorry, Scary Movie. Scream 3 wasn't in. I definitely felt watching it like this made no sense. But obviously writing issues fortunately happened literally again with the last one that was just released. But you know, that's what we got for there. Scary Movie. I keep saying Scary Movie because we're talking about Scary Movie and Scream. Scream 4 I felt was much better than Scream 3.
Uh,
I like the idea of a sole survivor and the publicity and the fame that you get and her wanting what Sydney had.
mm.
So I can get that. I can get behind that. That makes it much more
it's-
enjoyable because it makes sense.
Absolutely. Once again, this is what Scream does. It pokes, it jabs at society at large.
Yeah.
And with this in particular, you see, we'll talk about Scream 5 in a second, but I mean, with this in particular, especially around this time, it's still prevalent today, but certainly when the movie was coming out, people were hyper focused on being famous. I mean, Instagram started becoming like a really, really big thing.
Yeah.
Facebook becoming a really big thing. Snapchat's becoming a really big thing. You get people becoming famous just for looking pretty and literally having their rent paid just for looking pretty. I mean, it's nuts and it's crazy. And everybody is, tripping over each other, climbing over each other, being relatively brutal towards each other just so that they can get to that level of fame and adoration from other people. So to have that and to flip that, like, what if that person that we all know exists was a serial killer and would be willing to go to the lengths of actually killing people in order to get that level of fame? That's interesting.
No,
That's definitely fun.
It's interesting. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think they picked a good actress to play her. Anyway, so I enjoyed it. I can watch Scary Movie 4 and enjoy it.
Mhm.
Definitely more than than Scream 3.
Do you know what they were gonna do with that, by the way? That was supposed to be the reboot, which is super fun. She wasn't supposed to die at the end.
Oh.
Are you aware of this story?
No.
So, Emma Roberts was actually supposed to be the next Sydney, and Sydney was supposed to survive but have amnesia, and, Emma Roberts' character was supposed to go into, college for the fifth one,
And be
and
similar to Scary
Mm.
and Scream 2.
yeah, and there's supposed to be a new Ghostface who's killing people, and this Ghostface knows that Emma Roberts' character was the killer in the previous movie. So there's a little bit of teasing and
Yeah.
jabbing at her in regards
Mm.
to this, and she's trying to keep her secret from everybody else. And then eventually, it would have gone to what 4, 5. It would have gone to 6, and she would have been found out, and justice would have been done.
That would have been so much better than what we got. And that's not to say Scary Movie. I mean, why do I keep doing that? Scream 5 isn't good because I like Scream 5. I think the two, Jenna Ortega and
Melissa Barrera,
yeah, I thought they worked well. I thought the dynamic worked well.
very good.
This is one of those things that I hate. I feel like we're pulling um at really nothing here. I didn't like how she was his daughter and all that. That was kind of like, what are we doing here? I feel like we're just running out of stuff. So you kind of try to pull something from history. So that's kind of dumb. I didn't really like that. But as a whole, Scary Movie 5, I did like Richie.
Scream 5.
Do I keep doing that? I apologize to everybody here. Why do I keep doing that? Scream 5. I enjoyed Richie.
Mm.
I thought he was hilarious. I
Great
thought,
actor.
yeah, and I thought the twins being in there too, and her knowing what the movie is,
Mhm.
and actually said that on screen numerous times about how you bring in legacy
You
characters.
got What do you got? You got Star Wars and trying to successfully killing off Han. You got Ghostbusters, excuse me, killing off a legacy character as well. I mean, it happens time and time and
Yeah.
time again.
But she knows exactly what it is.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like funny that she's poking at horror movies in real life. So I can enjoy that. Scream 6, I did not like at all.
Yeah,
I hate that he grabbed a shotgun and killed somebody. I know how
That's
you
not
feel
up.
about I don't care. When you're a slasher, you're supposed to kill people with not with guns, because you want it to be painful. You want it to be like that. Yeah.
Like, as
But you don't
brutal as
want
being
them to
shot with a
die.
gun?
Yeah, but he shot that dude in the face. You're dead instantly.
Mm.
When a slasher is killing you, they want you to suffer. I don't suffer if you shot me in the head. What Scream does great is they stab you, right? Or what Ghostface does great is he'll stab you, he'll twist it, he'll so many times, right? And you're there and you're suffering, bleeding out.
Really?
That's not what I felt. When is the last time you saw Jason pick up a gun? Or Freddy?
Jason in New York punches somebody's head off, clean off.
Okay, but that's with his hands.
Yeah.
That's something. So if Ghostface grabbed a machete and cut your head off, okay, it's still with like a melee weapon like that. It's not like that with a gun. I don't think a slasher should have a gun. That completely defeats the purpose of you being a slasher. You don't slash somebody with a gun.
I'm trying to think if there's any death scene in any of the Scream movies that has this. I mean, you look at
They're all
Sarah Michelle Gellar's death scene in Scream 2 at the sorority house. Ghostface throws her off of the balcony. That's not with a knife.
But
right? She's dead.
that's with his hands. You were killed with his hands.
Tatum dies too.
Yeah,
You know,
garage.
just with the garage.
Yeah, but it's not like a gun that because the garage came down and it like,
It wouldn't kill her in real life, but you got to suspend your belief a little bit.
yeah, no, I understand, but you're like suffering through that. You know what I mean? If I shoot you in the head with a gun, there's not suffering. It's dead instantly. I don't like that. Should slashers
Scream
kill
3.
somebody with a gun?
Scream 3 blew up a house.
That's great. Scream 3 sucks, and I definitely told you that. So I don't care to begin with.
The entire movie blew up somebody.
The best scene in the entire movie is the end credits.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's a little excessive.
No,
you know
Scary Movie 3 was not
movies
good.
in Scream 3.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Scream
3 could still be entertaining.
7 was the worst one.
Yes, here we are. Scream 7. Goodness gracious. I, as you know, love Scream. It is my favorite franchise. Scream 1 is my favorite movie. Scream 7 was terrible. I hate that movie so much. It was not entertaining whatsoever.
It was god awful.
You called it in the theater every single time. You called exactly what was going to happen.
So everybody knows that I think that's because we watch movies all the time, right? Like it would be easier for us to catch because we like genuinely do this I watch movies like I get paid to do it, first of all, right? So I don't know how I found the time with a wife and 3 kids. Anyways, with that being said, we watch it so much that we can see a movie and be like, okay, I know how this is going to go. Brandon was there. Brandon be my witness. Once everybody knows when it comes to Scream, there's multiple killers. It's never just one. I'm not going to say how many killers were in the movie, but those killers, once they came out on screen, right there.
The scene.
I told you.
The moment
moment there, I was like,
killer.
And it's like, but that's the point that also too, it's my biggest thing about when it comes to the new Scream is that when I think of like red herrings and when I think of you not knowing who the killer is, it comes from Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Scream gave that to me. That's where I think of horror movie and horror movie tropes from. Mm-hmm. Scream. I love that. What I think Scream 7 does terrible is that it doesn't know when to stop doing the red herrings. Not everybody has to be a red herring.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the guy picks up the newspaper across the street, but he does so like very insidious looking at and you're like, what? How does that even make any sense?
Somebody picks up a coffee cup, in the movie and does it all insidious like okay. What the hell's with that?
There's 30 killers in this movie. So it's kind of like it was dumb. It was so dumb. And then everybody knows, if you're a fan of Scream, that everybody talks about Stu Macher. To this day, is Stu Macher alive, right? Fan service in the movie, not really going to say what it is, but there is fan service in the movie. A lot of fan service when it comes to Stu Macher, who is Matthew Lillard.
Did it pay off?
No,
not at all.
It didn't.
Not at all. The fan service, it's done well in other movies. This time, it's obvious fan service. And I don't think there's a single fan because there's 2 camps, people who want Stu Macher to be alive and people who do not want Stu.
I do want
No,
Stu Macher to be alive.
And I don't. I don't think any camp walked away from this movie satisfied with how they did this.
I'd probably say so otherwise because audience score is at what 73% for this movie.
The Rotten Tomatoes for Scream 7 is 32%.
That's critic score.
And 76% is Fandango.
Yeah, but is that critic or audience? You would just click on it and it would tell you. I think if I'm watching this movie, honestly, tell you the truth, I'd give this movie probably like a 4.
It's gotta be critics.
I'd give this movie like a 4 or 5. And honestly, I think 5 is pushing it. I'd probably stick with 4.
As much as I love Scream, I'd put it at a 3, man. A 3. It's terrible. So there's a couple of scenes that I think are relatively worth liking, I guess. You get one of the most brutal deaths in the entire movie.
It was unnecessary.
I will sit here and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it does involve the bar, like a bar scene, and I think that they did that relatively well. But the fact that that's the only good thing about it, I felt no connection with anybody that died. Not one person that I cared about in the slightest. At least when you look at Scream 2 and you see the boyfriend, Derek. Like, I cared about that. That person really cared about Sydney, and it was a heart-wrenching scene, a gut-wrenching scene to sort of see him get shot. Gun, Scream 2, Derek dies from Mickey Altieri, and that's a good scene too.
It is a good scene.
He's like, boyfriend killer, boyfriend killer.
I mean, hey, you know what? If it happens in the Scream movies. Okay, fine. I just don't think a slasher should kill anybody with a gun, as he does to Derek when he's tied up. Yep, he does do that. I don't like it. But besides that, just to let you know, critic score did give it in the 3s. Would you say 3.36 or something?
32%.
So critics gave Scream 7 32%. Audience gave it 77%. Why? Why was that movie, if you don't really understand it, that's between a scale of 0 to 100, 100% being it is a great movie.
Greatest movie
If it's easier to understand, me and Brandon like to do it from a 1 to 10. If you give the movie a 10, it's 100%. If you give the movie a 9, 90%, so on. They're saying this movie is a 7.7, almost an 8. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, how? How is this movie almost an 8? There's so many holes to the movie. They play with the red herring way too much.
Way too much.
And even then, they always tell you the killer is somehow connected to her history. Watching the movie, I'm not going to spoil anything, but how is it connected to her history? That made no sense. You weren't even connected to your history. You just knew her, that she was a survivor of that time, like everybody else that has access to public information.
More to that point, the killer reveal, you fully expect it to be about Sydney and all that stuff. It's implied throughout the trailer.
Whatever.
The killer reveal was the lamest killer reveal of the entire series.
Absolutely.
By far.
Yeah, 100%. That was terrible.
Before this point, I thought Scream 6 had the worst killer reveal. I didn't expect there to be 3 in Scream 6. But I definitely did call 2 of the 3 killers.
They had me thinking for a second, it could have been Kirby in Scream 6.
For like a split second.
For a split second. So I was like, okay, yeah, now you're thinking. This entire movie for Scream 7, I don't even care to genuinely be like, oh, I can't wait for them to reveal the killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Moreover, I mean, Neve Campbell is an amazing actress. I love Neve Campbell. She's a fantastic actress. I didn't feel that in this movie whatsoever. I think
she's fantastic.
I think Gale Weathers is a fantastic actress. As well. And I didn't feel like she was being brought. This whole movie, you know what? It just feels like the emotion is drained from it. The life is drained from the script itself. It's like AI wrote it.
Yeah. Tell ChatGPT the synopsis for 1 through 6 and say, give me a potential synopsis for 7.
Exactly.
That's what you got.
All the scenes between the two, I figured there'd be a little more emotion there, more love there, but it's not. 100% this is written by a robot.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
It'd be understandable because of the drama that happened with the production of Scream 7. Initially, there was supposed to be Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega was supposed to be, if you didn't know this,
their trilogy.
If you didn't know this, Melissa Barrera's character was supposed to end up fully completing her arc of becoming a serial killer.
I would have loved it.
And I believe the turning point for her with that would have been Jenna Ortega's death. I'm not sure if that was going to be like the opening kill or if that was going to be like midway through.
Imagine Jenna Ortega as the first kill in the intro.
Mm,
That would have been
mm,
that would have been beautiful.
that was nuts.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that so much more than what you got.
And that they were building something with Scream 5 and 6,
Mhm.
and I was waiting for the completion of that. I was waiting for the payoff in regards to that. They didn't pay that at all. Don't get me wrong. I hate the fact that Sydney or that the Nev Campbell wasn't in Scream 6. I think it would have been really cool to see her
Nah.
in that. The whole reason why she wasn't in there was because they weren't going to pay her an X amount of money that she deserved, in my opinion, to be in the movie because she was and is the face of Scream. The whole point of all of this, Scream 5, 6, 7 was supposed to be the send off, passing the torch between the original characters into the new characters. Fantastic. All right. So pay the people what they're worth. You have like one more movie with Nev Campbell, one more good movie with Nev Campbell. You can't just play along, pay her. You're gonna get a lot of money regardless. So just play the game a little bit until the torch is fully passed off. Then shoo off the legacy characters, give them a nice ending and all that stuff. They've earned their rest, And now we get to play with the characters that we've set up so far. And it just came down to greed, and I think that genuinely did. That obviously because of the stuff that happened in Scream 6, now we got the stuff that happened in Scream 7 and everything that's happening overseas. There's a whole bunch of drama in regards to that. I think that's dumb. I don't like politics in my movies in general. I'm trying to be entertained. So just
Yeah, but all that
get over it.
all
Just-
that
can we just make a movie?
all that whole political mess just kind of goes into everything. Goes into your movies, goes into studios, goes into how people choose actors, goes into so much stuff. So obviously that was the contributing factor of what broke the camel's back with the new Scream 7. Uh, it was just not enjoyable. There was just so many things that they were like, oh, how do we bring in something from? We can't just completely ignore 5 and 6. So how do we bring something from there that at least makes it feel like a continuation? Let's get the twins.
hmm
And you're like, okay, that's cool. The twins were very enjoyable of core 4,
If
right?
they weren't in the movie, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, no.
They weren't necessary for the movie.
No, they weren't. And even then, you're watching it, you're like, why are you in this position that you're in this new movie? Like, you didn't have there was not one time where you dropped a desire to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, why are you even here? And then you've been attacked and you've survived serial killer twice. Would you not have a gun on you at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And then Sydney, the entire movie, you kind of, and even it from watching it, that there is a big relationship issue and a feud between her and her daughter, right? If you know you're Sydney Prescott, why would you not teach your daughter how to survive? Because people from your history and those skeletons come back to get you.
Mm.
Why would I have a husband that's the chief of police, but I'm going to completely keep my daughter in the dark about this?
Mm.
Like, I would love her to know how to protect herself. Let's completely ignore that the whole movie, even though I'm Sydney Prescott. It's just kind of dumb. I thought the movie was terrible.
Mm.
I honestly save your money. Wait till it gets to a streaming service. Watch it on a streaming service. This is not one of those movies where if I got a spoiler, I'd be like, oh my God, no. Because if I saw a spoiler, I'd be like, okay, that was equally as entertaining as the movie.
100%.
And I don't understand why audience gave it a 77. Sometimes audience also too, they're like, yeah, that was cool. But it's like, we look at it a little bit differently because we're horror movie fans. And of course, you're a big Scream fan. I'm surprised you don't have a ghost face tattooed somewhere on your body. But it's just not enjoyable. And you can ask people and some people will tell you, yeah, I thought it was really good. And you're like, where?
Yeah.
You fell asleep. Yeah, you had to have fallen asleep.
With all that being said, all right, without spoiling anything, is there anything that you would want to what would you have done to make the movie better? Let's
Oh,
say that we're already past the point of no return in regards to Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. So
I would have killed off Gail. Uh, I would have killed Gail, right? Like that's probably something I would have done. Um, I don't like the fact that you know who's gonna die first based off of the tropes. If you're a very attractive woman that wears tight clothes, you're gonna die first, right? the whore's got to die first. So that's like the only thing is like you always challenge horror movie tropes, but you fall exactly into it.
You watch, just to interrupt you real quick, just because this is what you're kind of pulling from. The Cabin in the Woods, was that the movie
Yeah.
where there's like people underground?
Yeah, you
Drunk-
choose the way you die based off of what object you grab in the attic. Love Cabin in the
And
Woods.
they have to have like 5 people that die, right?
Yeah.
And what were the categories?
It was Stoner, the jock.
The Jester.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, the Jester.
Yeah, the virgin, the jock, the whore, and I forgot what the other guy
scholar.
was. The scholar.
Mhm.
Okay.
And if you look up scary movies, typically there's all 5 of those categories in almost every scary movie.
Yeah, well represented.
So outside of Scream and Scary Movie, those are that's another movie that I feel like is kind of really, really meta when it comes down to scary movies. So in this movie, in Scream 7, I mean, you certainly still do have those categories that are implied.
Yeah, but it's so dumb because the entire time you see every single character, it's they want to throw it in your face. Oh, could it be you?
Mhm.
Could it be you? Could they be it? And it's like at a certain point, you're not just there. And when you watch Scream for the first time, you didn't think Tatum was the killer, right? You watch it and you're like, not everybody has to be a killer.
Mhm.
And now when you get to Scream 7, now everybody might be a killer.
Yeah,
At this
there's-
point, you just question everything. It's
There's
like,
a kind of a relative point towards McKenna Grace's character for being Ghostface. There's a pull towards Asa German's character, Anna Camp's character, Scott, Jimmy Tatro's character. I mean, just almost everybody in there, like they could be the killer.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, oh my gosh.
yeah, it's too much. I would not recommend to watch the movie.
I myself, what I would do to help the movie without spoiling anything is so long before trailers came out and when they were just typing this stuff up, they mentioned they're just releasing news about this stuff. They mentioned the return of Matthew Lillard. All right, they mentioned the return of Scott Foley, who played Roman Bridger in Scream 3.
For 3.
All right, they mentioned the return of just quote past ghost faces in there, which I thought immediately, especially with how Scream typically pokes fun at stuff that's happening in real life today. AI immediately came to my mind.
Mhm.
AI, it has to be AI to some degree, right?
Yeah, you did say that AI was going to be used in this new movie, which obviously it was. Not only to make the movie, but involved in the movie. Yeah.
Little too much. So what I thought was going to happen was they were going to have phone calls incorporating AI to change the voice of whoever's there, similar to what we see in Scream 3, where he has that voice changer that has everybody's voice. Now we're in 2026. Back in the 1990s, it didn't make sense for that to happen. But now we're in 2026, and we have deep fakes of videos of people saying the wildest stuff, politicians saying the wild. I'll be like, I literally don't know what's real when I'm looking at Instagram. Like, is this a deep fake? Is it not? A lot of times, if they don't put deep fake like in the description,
You
then
won't know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So
Or this is AI generated.
So I figured that they would utilize previous Ghostface's voices in order to mess with Sydney's head about what's going to happen next and about
Who's the killer?
who the killer is. Like, it's literally Matthew Lillard. It's literally it's literally Stu Macher. It's literally Roman Bridger. It's literally Mickey Altieri. It's literally Billy, et cetera, et cetera, et
Mrs.
cetera.
Loomis, yeah.
You know, and then eventually, I thought at the very end, what would have been really cool and sort of subverted a lot of expectations is if it was one killer who has schizophrenia, multi-personality disorder. So similar to what we sort of see in Split. So if we got a really good actor to play that, then what we would have gotten was somebody who genuinely believes they are Mickey Altieri, somebody who genuinely believes they are Stu Macher, et cetera, et cetera. And you're seeing this. Imagine the killer reveal, like, it's me, haha. And it's like this isn't a real person, but like David, and it's like surprise, Sydney, it's me, Stu, and then little change, sort of what we see in Split, where you sort of see a more feminine, nonverbal communication being played, and it's actually Billy's mother now,
Yeah.
and whatever and whatnot, right? I think that would have been super duper cool. That would have subverted a lot of expectations, and the motive behind it could have genuinely been since they genuinely think they are Stu Macher and Mickey Altieri and whatever, they could have been wanting to finish the story.
Mhm.
That's what it is. That's the motive now.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been like nobody saw that coming.
I think a lot of options that you could have and a lot of fan endings would have been better than what you got anyway to begin with.
Yeah.
Because I didn't enjoy this one bit.
Moreover, so what does the Scream franchise, just to end off with this, I mean, where does the Scream franchise go from now? I think you're on the money right
To the
now, man.
bucket.
You're on the money. It's really hard to create a slasher in today's day and age with the technology that we have, with the cameras that we have. You have to subvert a lot of expectations for this stuff. So I think it'd be really cool if they rebooted the franchise, and maybe went for more of a 90s. The whole franchise is set in the 90s.
But would
That'd
it
be super
sell?
cool.
Would you think even that taking place in the 90s, do you think that would sell to people now?
I think so. I think there's maybe even the early 2000s, because there'd be a level of nostalgia with that they can play off of. There'd be a level of realism. So it's like you know why they're doing some of the stuff they're doing, is because the phones they have don't lock the doors, don't look for the entire house. They don't send a one of the problems I had in Scream 7 is there's a lot of times when the police were called or should have been called. Like, for instance, when they threw something through a window, the alarm goes on, and the police should be like 2 minutes away. They're around. It's implied that they're around and that the whole city's on lockdown. So why aren't they there in like 2.5 minutes? And they're not. So the fact that with Scream, if they were to do a Scream in the 90s, then certainly that could be a draw, or a level of realism, I should say, for why certain things happen, and people will be less annoyed with why, the realism with it.
Yeah. The only thing I'm curious about is if you think modern slasher movies can genuinely be as good as it was at that time, because obviously at that time it was more of a more of a realism to it, as far as those 90s 2000s. I think that's when slashers were at its peak, because I mean if you look in 2020s, this is what they say is top 5, and we can certainly give our own, right? But this one is Freaky 2020. That's the one with Vince Vaughn
Yeah.
and Catherine Newton. Terrifier 2, X, Jenna Ortega, and Mia Goth. Sick is same writer, Kevin Williamson. I actually have not seen Sick yet. I do need to watch it. And then In a Violent Nature came out in 2024. That's another indie film that I have not seen. But I don't. We're 6 years into 2020. If this is your top 5, this is what some people believe is their top 5. We're probably not doing really good as far as the slasher category.
Mm.
So knowing that, and knowing that the 2000s kind of vibe is completely different than what it is now, it would seem that a 2000 slasher coming out in 2026, 2027 might not sell.
You really don't think so?
No, I don't
It's
think
the
so.
era in general that I feel like
Kids are scared of their phone dying now, so maybe let's do something about that, like an EMP, because it's kind of like, okay, at that point, hey,
a
you know what?
serial killer during an EMP crisis.
Yeah,
That's how badly he wants to get you.
yeah, but the point is it's hard to scare people and put together a good movie while giving you that nostalgic 2000s vibe, just because people have already moved past it. Even though I love it, a lot of people have genuinely moved past it. You know, a movie that I really like, a lot of people don't. I don't care. I really like it. Uh, Leave the World Behind. I know we've talked about this so many times. Um, the reason why I like Leave the World Behind, I don't even, you probably wouldn't even say it's a scary movie, right? But the whole idea behind it is technology's gone. You have no idea what's going on in the movie. Even as you watching as a consumer of movies,
Mhm.
you have no idea what's going on. But that's the point, is that when something happens like that, especially in the modern era, and you completely wipe out our communication and our means of communicating with each other, we would have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? That is terrifying. That's a way that you brought something that we all are heavily rely on, our technology. So if you wipe that out, how do we communicate with each other, right? How do we know what's going on? Have you seen the movie Leave the World Behind?
I believe I have, yeah.
That's the one on Netflix, with Ethan Hawke and Jenna
Oh yeah,
not Jenna Roberts, Emma, what's her name?
I know what you're talking about. That's the one with the guy starts losing his teeth, right?
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. I apologize. I know she's a big actress. I forgot her name. Julia Roberts.
Hmm.
So anyways, yeah, you don't know what's going on in the movie, and that's the point. They don't want you to know what's going on. That's up for the consumer and your interpretation. Right? There's a lot of movies that are like that. Shutter Island leaves room for interpretation at the end. It ends. I actually just watched that movie not too long ago. Room for interpretation. Coherence, movies up for interpretation. Triangle, same thing. All these movies that we thoroughly enjoy, there's some interpretation behind it. That's why I like Leave the World Behind. That's a little more horrific to things that go on in today's world because we rely so heavily on technology. The idea of you not being able to communicate with somebody and you have no idea what's going on. So that's one of the movies that I think is like a modern it's got a more modern vibe when it comes to what can happen now that would scare us. That would scare me. Not being able to communicate with anybody and not knowing what the hell's going on.
Well, like I said, slashers and horror movies, it's a hard. I mean, they are horror movies, and there is a level of fear involved in it. But I don't think people are watching slashers with the intention of feeling the same fear as they would with a movie like that, and with a movie like Conjuring or Insidious or something like that.
But even in like the Strangers, the movie The Strangers, that one I was scared watching that one. The idea of someone being in your home and they're not supposed to be in your home and you have no idea they're in your home.
That's Black Christmas. That's Scream.
So then, yeah, but watching Scream for the first time and watching The Strangers for the first time, I was more terrified of The Strangers than I was of Scream. The Strangers did it perfectly. It's the fact that you don't know that there's a killer there, and by the time you realize it, it's already too late. So I think The Strangers did a great thing with that. I think her scream in there is one of the best. I remember having it on DVD. And when you would put it in your DVD and you'd wait to press play, you know how the menu would play back and play back. If you would leave it, it would just play. It's her. It's them panning through the house. You hear that uh loud knock on the door, and then you hear her scream.
Mhm.
So the movie The Strangers, I think, is a slasher movie that scared me in a way not even Scream did.
Mhm. I don't know. Well, the formula is there, man. I mean, if by with strangers, they're relatively silent, and silent is creepy, right? For the most majority of the movie, they're silent, and that carries the fear right there. But with Scream, I mean, he's taunting you through the phone. He's quizzing you with movie cinema. That's like candy for people like you and me.
Yeah,
He is killing you in brutal ways. He's killing people that you love
I
in
think the
brutal
movie's better.
ways.
No, I think the movie is better. Scream, I think, is better. I'm
But
just more
with formula
scared.
alone is relatively timeless. That you could put that. I haven't said anything that sticks to a time. You could put that anywhere,
Do you think
and
there's a line you could
that's
pull from?
relatable.
Do you think there's a line you can pull from Scream? I know you can quote the whole movie. That's not what I'm asking.
Mhm.
Is there a line that you can pull from Scream that's more scarier than why are you doing this?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
And,
what
oh,
would you say?
like, not to put any disrespect.
Well, just so the audience knows, the line that follows, why are you doing this, is
Because you were here. Because you were here.
because you were here. There's no reason to it.
Yeah.
It's literally because you're
Look,
here.
that is very scary, especially since that's like one of the first lines that they say the entire movie,
Mhm.
and so that's like what?
Yeah, I'm not talking about the Strangers or the Chapters. Don't no, I'm not talking about those movies. I'm talking about the original 2008 The Strangers.
Mhm.
Watch it.
Um, so with that, I'd say there's a lot of scenes from or a lot of quotes that I can pull from throughout the Scream franchise, but I think what trumps that, two of them, is the most iconic line for me. It's what got me. This is the draw for me with this scary movie. It happens in the first 10 minutes in Scream. All right, he says she's over here flirting with the killer, unknowing that's the killer and all
Yeah.
that stuff. The first Scream movie on the phone, flirting, and then she's like, "So you got a boyfriend?" And like, "No." Uh,
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
conversation, they're flirting, and then he says,
she says, "Why do you want to know my name?" It's like, "Because I want to know who I'm looking at." It's like, "What?" "I want to know who I'm talking to." Oh my gosh, it gets me every time. I love that line. It's a throwaway line. It completely changes the dynamic of the entire conversation. You feel safe, right? And then
You don't.
you feel safe the entire time until you're like right in the middle of the wolf's den. And you didn't know that you were walking into the wolf's den,
Right.
metaphorically speaking. And now the door is closed. The gilded cage is closed. And now it's, I want to know who I'm looking at. And you're not safe. You're in an like you don't know what's going on right.
So that's the one that you pull from the Scream
Absolutely.
franchise.
And for what you just said in regards to, there's a second one that I could pull from that I think is better than, I think that one is better than that,
Because you were home.
because you were home. There's another one, and that's relatively a couple minutes after what I just said. You know, when I know what I'm looking at, now things are starting to pick up in Scream 1, and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" Or no, excuse me, like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, I'm not sure if I can get in trouble for this, but like, I'm gonna say it anyways. Like, what do you want? To see what your insides look like. I mean, it's like, you know that you can't talk this person down. Like, he wants what he's gonna get, and it's gonna end with an unfavorable position for you.
Yeah, and a bold take uh on how they chose to film that. Let's get A tier actor, S tier
Mhm,
actress
mhm,
in the 90s, market her for the entire movie,
mhm.
but she dies in 10 minutes. And now you're like,
Anybody can die.
and you're, yeah. Well,
Anybody.
one, anybody could die, and two, they knew they would get butts in seats if it was Drew Barrymore.
Mhm,
But if you got a no-name actress, right, and a couple no-name people, and you're like, people might not come watch this, but just because you had Drew Barrymore for your marketing strategy, that's why people went,
mhm.
and it paid off, and it paid off well.
Paid off big.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
There's another sort of throwaway line in the Scream TV series, which I feel doesn't really get a lot of love.
No.
I love the Scream TV series. A lot of people hated it. They hated the fact that the Brandon James mask was different from the Ghostface mask. And don't get me wrong, the peanut-eyed ghost, which is the Ghostface mask, the iconic Ghostface mask, is iconic for a reason. It's great. I like the Brandon James mask. I think the best way that you're going to continue the Scream franchise is by adding new things here and there. uh, I get trying to keep the iconic Ghostface mask, but that's the reason why a lot of people hated the first 2 seasons of the Scream TV series because of that. But there was a phone call that happens to the main character of the show, Emma, right? And it's very, very similar to what we just saw in Scream 1 with the whole, I wanna know who I'm looking at. And she's over here, somebody just tried to break into her house. She gets very scared. So because the modern era, you get a call from your security system saying like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? And what's your security passcode?" and all that stuff. So it happens to her. She's like, "Yeah, my security passcode is amethyst." Right? And it's like, "Should I leave right now?" And excuse me, the phone call person says it's safer to stay inside. If they tried to break in, they likely ran away when they heard the noise, which is true. That's exactly what would happen for a normal person, right? So, the person on the phone is trying to talk her down, you know, trying to get her mind off of things like, "Hey, I mean, so you watching a movie tonight? And like, what sort of movies you like to watch? What sort of shows you like to watch?" She's saying the things that are popular at the time: Game of Thrones, How to Get Away with Murder, and like, "Oh, that's a really good one." You know, segues into the whole scary movie sort of thing, and it gets to a point where the person on the call, she's over here saying, "Look, I'm sorry, I'm just really tired." And like, "You do look tired." And she's like, "What?" And like, "You do sound tired." It's very, very similar to that.
That's not what you
And
said.
that's not what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. She starts locking the doors. The best thing, the right question you should be asking is that, did you lock me inside or outside?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's
So you think those
chemistry.
three can even be better? All three of those you would say are better than because you were home.
Because you were home.
I admire that you're a big Scream fan. And I'd only accept one that is in competition is I want to know who I'm looking at. Because the other two I don't think are close. Because once I hear because you were home, I'm already tied in the chair, stabbed. The other one is, you're gonna break into my home shortly. But the other one, I'm already in a terrible situation as it is. So I think that's a good question to ask people. What do they think is a better line? Is a better line, why are you doing this after you're torturing us because you're home? Or you get a phone call late at night, someone's talking to you and they hit you with, I want to know who I'm looking at. So I think that's a good question to ask ask the audience and see what they have to say.
I think it's pretty clear that mine is the scariest one. If you're at home, for whatever reason, like, let's say somebody you think you know who's on the phone. You realize it's not who you think it is, and they have less than honorable intentions with the phone call. I mean, it's relatable and it is scary.
Yeah, and if it's an unknown caller, probably don't answer your phone.
Most people nowadays won't answer an unknown call.
Yeah.
Calling at the 90s was a little bit,
But even in the new Scream,
different.
even in the new Scream movie, unknown, they're like, let me answer.
Scam likely. Okay.
Yeah, no, we don't do that. We don't do that at all. So what is y'all's favorite scary movie? Are you of the same mindset of Brandon and think Scary Movie 1 is the best? Are you like me, think Scream 2, so on and so forth? So what do you think is the best? Leave in the comments. Thank y'all so much for everything that y'all do. We love you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Later, nerds.